Okay, we're gone. Let's go.
Like, I ain't even know no recording shit like that, bro.
Let's go. What, bro?
You ain't gonna believe it.
She slapped me in the sprinter with my entourage and shit. Ice all on my stomach, got her Fenty on my feet. Makeup on my acne like I'm trying to hide a zit. Wear my clothes too baggy, shit, I'm trying to hide my zit. Now baby, I'm too fucking grown to teach you how to ride a dick. Need a freaky college boots for frolicking.
And hello everyone, and welcome to What's the Dillies podcast, a podcast where we aim to entertain and bring you behind the scenes and into the minds of my favorite dancers in hopes that it can help you in your dance journey and maybe you can apply in your life too. And for episode 6, we have myself, just due to Corona and everything that was going on, I couldn't get another guest to come on, so we had to have me on. I originally intended to have myself on as the last guest to wrap up the season and have a recap, but you know, you just gotta adapt. So I've actually tried filming this episode like 2 times already, but it just feels too awkward to talk to myself. So for vibes, we have Tommy here with us.
Yo.
We have Sheldon.
What's goody?
And we have Durf, aka Fred.
Hey, why am I lost? Hey,
Alright.
what is this?
See that. So I've compiled all the questions that you've asked me on What's the Dillies podcast and on my own Instagram when I put out that poll a few weeks ago, and we're just gonna go through them now. So thank you everyone for asking, and yeah, let's get into it.
Yo, I think I'll start it off for the boys, but I think this question will be more for everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then the other ones will kind of a lot of these questions I feel like can be a bit for everyone. But we'll see. How's your quarantine been, G? How's everyone's quarantines been?
Fuck. This is like, I already had a conversation with you before, but I hate this question, man.
Yo.
I was just like, bro, how's your quarantine been? Bro, it's just been the same as yours, bro. We're not doing anything. What do you want the answer to be, bro?
That's facts.
like how different can the answer be? You know what I mean? But overall, my quarantine's been like up and down. I guess it's positive some days. Some days I feel like a wreck. Anyone else?
Well, you shut up.
Big smooth. Yeah, I mean it's up and down, but yeah, it is kind of like the same as everyone else, I guess. I've been trying to be hard out creative this lockdown, actually like pushing out heaps of content and whatnot, and lots of stuff, but going on behind the scenes as well in the back pocket. But yo,
Easy. Oh, Fred's from Australia. For people that don't know Fred. So his experience is a bit different because
he's all good.
Oh, but you, Fred, what are you up to for your quarantine, G? Because your one's a bit different. You're still going to work.
Oh yeah, it's pretty stinky. What, do everyone else stay home? Stuff there. I want to stay home too.
Yeah, that's
Do that.
Are you guys moving into that phase where like you're gonna all stay home, or?
Nah, it's kind of like it's going back down now. They're like bending rules. Yeah, it's going back down.
Oh yeah, that's me.
The quarantine. So I like to stay home.
Yeah, that's fair enough there.
How do we know? Content by chill.
I pass it on. How you been, G?
I was like, damn. I was like, damn. No one's gonna ask me, bro.
How you been?
Wait, you mean to ask
That's why it was so awkward for so long, bro. I was just waiting.
I was just like, damn. Someone was going to just take it off me, bro.
Yeah. Alright, okay.
Bro, come on, boys. Nah, it's been all good. Honestly, like the biggest problem I had is probably staying on like task. Yeah, same. I'm getting hella distracted way too easy.
Same.
Yeah, I think mainly because like I get out of the house so that I can work.
Yeah.
And when I'm at home, I like to like relax out a lot. So,
I actually got into an argument with my parents like about that because I used to stay out like late as when I used to just be studying in the library and shit. I used to stay out for ages, and they could never understand why I couldn't like concentrate at home, and it's just because the environment really just sets the pace for you, you know?
Definitely. I feel that.
It's like hard, like working from like places that you associate with like comfort and chilling.
Yeah, definitely.
What you want to do is just like, I'm like working from and I'm like trying to take 5-minute naps every 2 seconds. Like, come on, without productivity. Yo.
Oh, coronavirus.
Like, what kind of music's been like keeping you going, Andy? Like, what music do you recommend?
Oh, thanks for moving along, Sheldon. Actually, fuck, bro, my Spotify playlist has been on point lately. Yeah.
Yo, let's go.
Let's go. Spotify. Any
flags. Nah, cut that out.
You gotta message me for the quarantine. The quarantine rotation has been my favorite at the moment.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like,
Bill Clinton swag, chat. Bill Clinton swag. Has been helping you out.
A few artists I've been listening to like lately has probably been Justin Bieber's new album. There's this dude called Rule. He's pretty mean as well. Rick's Orange County and Gracie Abrams and Queen Niger. Yeah, those. I'm not sure if that's how her name's spelled, but yeah, those are my main artists at the moment. Pass it around. What's everyone else been listening to?
Should we keep it short and we just put one artist on for the other everyone else? It's mainly for you, to be honest. This, you know why? Because this podcast is about you, Andy.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's all about you.
We're just helping out. We're cogs in the machine.
Just vibing.
Yeah. So you don't get bored, you know?
Yeah. So we'll do for the rest of the boys. We'll just do one artist. Put one artist on. So just like So we'll start with Fred. Go backwards. Just put one artist on. Who you been listening to recently?
Who have I been listening to recently? No.
So legit.
To be honest, I stuck when it comes to music, but my homie Tommy's been putting me on, so I'm gonna put him on.
Yo.
No.
Oh, I guess that's my plug then. I have a playlist called.
Follow it, Spotify. Follow me.
Nah. I think mine will be Coda the Friend. I've been listening to his a lot recently. His music a lot recently. I found him just before. I found him a while back, but I think I started really listening to him just before quarantine. Yeah, I really like his music. What about you, Sheldon G?
So like this like lockdown's been dope for music.
Actually really has.
Like introducing me to like so much like this buzzy different like music. Someone that's been on heavy rotation. This chick, what's her name? Alois. Have you heard of Alois?
No.
Is that French girl?
Huh?
Is that French girl?
Oh, well, she's not. Well, yeah, there's that Alois, but no, like the sing. So,
okay.
Alois as well. Hey, man, I'm telling you, if you're about those soft, like lax out vibes, Alois is the one, dude.
She got voice cords, bro.
She got the pipes, but it's like not like Hundy's like vocalist pipes. It's
it's that chill.
It's the vibe,
smooth.
I feel that.
That's the best one too.
Oh, yo, sweet. We just.
Yo,
Andy G, if you were just to like talk about some of your inspirations in life, bro, like just going from like music, we can talk about music inspirations and we can talk about dance inspirations, talk about anything. But if we were just to say like what and who inspires you as a creative, like how do you get through these times, bro?
Wow, that was okay. So I want to tell you right now, we have these questions in front of us, and they're really simple. But Tommy reworked that quite well.
He's fleshed out a bit.
I don't have the questions. Yeah,
you're a goat, bro.
They're gone.
Now, Tommy, just read the question.
I didn't got the questions. They're gone.
Yes,
there we go.
And just answer the question. You're sorry.
So inspires me. As a creative, I guess. Fuck, I hate being like this dude, but like, how cocky would it be if I just like myself?
Yeah.
No,
right?
That's
That's
ultimate. G.
I think I can only talk about like lately. What's been inspiring me is like I've been like journaling a lot, and every time I kind of need not inspiration, but more so like it is inspiration, like where I drive like the feeling for my pieces and what I'm trying to get out of a session. It comes from like my journal entries most of the time. Like sometimes I'll just reread through it and just figure out like why I'm feeling this kind of way, and then process it like that. In terms of dance inspirations, probably Project is like a big one for me. Honestly, if I didn't have Project, I probably wouldn't be like anywhere near the type of dancer I am in terms of like, or even the person I am in terms of being like social. But in terms of dancing, I realized that you can't really go it alone. You can't just dance by yourself and expect to be like super dope. Because you need that exchange to
especially jamming out and stuff like that.
Yeah, you need that exchange because that's how you're gonna like be inspired, and it's okay to bite. I realize that like not like bite like 100% take someone's move, but to
it's like 10%, eh?
Yeah, just to
like
take
sampling
it, just take it and make it your own, you know.
Just sort of moves like, oh, yo, I want to take that move.
So that's what inspires me. Yeah.
No, it's me.
Sure,
coming from like coming from the like inspiration, like damn, I had it, bro.
Well, you had it, G. Run it back.
I had it, G.
You had it, bro.
Yo, coming from the inspirations, bro, you had it, bro. What was it?
Coming from inspirations, G. Like let me say one time.
Keep that
in back. Bring it
keep
back.
The energy. Keep the energy.
Bring it back.
Just cut this part out, G. All good, easy. That's easy claps.
Like,
coming from inspiration, G, and like, nah, G, I can't do the next one.
Okay.
G, shout it to you now. Okay.
Like, so coming from inspirations,
like,
coming from the actual inspirations, like, would you say that any of them kind of like got you into dance in any way, or do they influence like your why around, why you keep dancing and whatnot?
So, like funny story, bro. Like how I actually got into dancing. Yo, shot Sheldon. Yeah, throw it up. So how I actually got into dancing was Tommy showed me this video of William and Johnny and Ricky, I think, and like King, I think.
Yeah, some of the homies.
Yeah, some of the homies. He showed me a video of them b-boying, and the next video I watched after that was Battle of the Year 2011, I think.
Nice.
So after I watched Battle of the Year, and back then Power was like so dominated because it was really easy to make like Power look amazing because it already is, but on camera it's just like even more easier, right? So there was these compilations of them doing power moves, and I was just so into it because I was like, bro, this is something completely different to me, I'm like this Asian kid, like I don't know. Like I don't know about breakdancing until then. I wasn't exposed to it. So this being my first exposure to breakdancing and how your body can actually go from being like just a plain ordinary person to someone that is like feels like Superman. And that was huge for me because I felt like such a plain dude when I was growing up, I'm just an average guy, I'm not like super tall, I'm not like fucking buff or anything, I'm just me. So when I saw what you could actually do, I'm like, man, I want this. Like I want to get to where they are. But then I also someone said that dancing gets you girls, and I was like, yo,
oh yeah,
like I want girls too. So but then I realized like dancing really doesn't get you girls.
It doesn't.
But then I got my first girlfriend by dancing, so you know what?
Hey, bro. We'll take that. We'll take that.
I'll take what I can,
Tommy doesn't count, G. Like
we'll take that win. But what's her name?
Tommy, sure.
Not bad. Nah.
What's the name then? Research for my boys.
Maybe for a private convo, yeah.
Research for my boys.
Research for my boys. Yo, but like talking about your dance and like you obviously you have a massive passion for it because like when you talk about it, you know, when you like hear someone talk about their passions, you just know it's their thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that influence like you wanting to transition to the podcast kind of world and kind of applying that craft?
Do you know how proud I am of these boys, man? Like, I'm actually so proud of them. They went from being like a rocky start to being like coming with the questions, man. I respect that. Until we put on his watch.
It's been on this whole time. What
Shut up, play.
He didn't.
Oh my god.
He didn't have a watch when this recording started. He went to go get some water to put on a watch.
Bruh, I don't get water, but I got Mountain Dew.
Getting water is
That's how my
flex.
Fuck.
That's how my personal trainer is.
So what was the question again? That like this helped me get into podcasting.
Yeah. Like, what made you get into podcasting, basically?
It was more so like I was working a factory job like last year, and I was working there for like about 6 months, and for like the first month of the job, I was like loving it because it was something new. It was something new, and something like I could like figure out, and I was like, oh, okay, this like I like doing it. But then after the first month, when I figured out my own system of how to do things, and when I just kept getting like more efficient, I was just working on autopilot at that point, you know, and I was just getting so like physically I was working my ass off, but like mentally I was just feeling so dead inside, you know. I was like, bro, I'm not feeding my brain enough.
Right.
Like I just feel like it's like that saying when you turn on the lights but no one's home. That's how I felt when I was like working, you know. So I was like that for a little while, and then I started listening to TED Talks, and then from TED Talks it went from TED Talks to poetry, and then it went to podcasts. So initially I started podcasts, and I started listening to more so not educational ones, but just more so comedy ones, because I just found it more funny and entertaining. And then towards the end of the year, what people I always tell people like the reason for like why I started the podcast was because people were asking me questions and I wanted to answer it. But then really towards the end of last year, I was just super lonely at that time, you know. I was like incredibly like I had people, but I just didn't reach out. And I felt so lonely, and I was like, bro, like coming into 2020, I don't want to be like lonely anymore, you know. I don't want to be like the sad dude that's like just only has like a few people, you know. I want to like talk to more people. I want to make more deeper connections. So then I looked at this podcast as something I could use to deepen connections with people I already have, because what's more intimate than creating something with someone, you know what I mean? Yeah. So initially what this podcast was, it was just me trying to get some help. It was just me trying to like not be not be so lonely anymore. And I'm all good with being alone, but it was just the fact that like when I really thought about it, I was like, man, dude, like I've been alone for a bit too long, and I was just like, man, fuck, this ain't good. So this was just a way for me to help myself. And then so when I started the podcast, it wasn't even meant to be a dance podcast. It was just meant to be a podcast of me talking to people, talking to my friends, and wanting to know more about them, and wanting to like know more about their experiences and pick their brain. But it just turns out that all my friends are dancers, so it ended up being a dance podcast. And then all the things like beginner dancers would ask me questions because they found me more approachable or something, and then I would answer their questions, and then I just realized that I could use this to help other people as well. But initially, this was like a really selfish idea. This was just me saying, yo, I need to help myself because like I don't want to be this way all the time. And then
it's like big vibes.
It just ended up like becoming a positive ripple effect. Yeah. So that's why I started.
Oh, yo. Do you think what do you have any like if you could like highlight a gem that you might have gotten from one of them? What do you reckon? Is there any? Obviously, all of the episodes are like filled with like little gems and stuff, and you guys should all listen to every other episode. But like, if you could highlight a gem, if you could highlight a
subtle plug.
I would say all of them are really special to me in their own kind of way. Just like a real simple just a real simple like description of each one. William was the first person that taught me how to dance. I was self-taught b-boying. I learned b-boying online with Tommy and a bunch of other friends. We were doing that for about 2 years, and then I went into choreography. And William was the first person that ever brought me into this world. So the fact that like I can still dance with him today and like be friends with him is like really big for me. So I always have love for him, and he knows that. So having him on as my first guest was like really cool to me. And just hearing his stories about Brian and how Brian is like he was someone that inspired both of us, and you can tell it's really apparent in both of our styles how much Brian has like an influence on us. So hearing his story about Brian and everything, I was just really happy. Our second episode of Mike, that was really cool too, because I get to pick Mike's brain. And then the third episode, so it went from like Corey to battling. So it went William, Corey, Mike battling. And then the third one was actually Mele, which is my old high school teacher. And I think it's that one and John's one, which is like the best gems for me. Just because with Mele, I never knew how much she did. Like I never knew how much she did for us, and like how she even began to start doing things for us. So hearing that episode, I was like, bro, I have so much respect for you now. And like I always did have respect for her. But just like hearing her thought process, and I was like, wow, like you are one of the most giving people I know, bro. And that's like just straight facts.
Yeah.
So shout out to her. And then John's one was different because John is he's always joking around. But he knows like a lot, and he thinks a lot, and being able to really, because that episode we were talking for like 5 hours and we cut it down to like 2 hours. So
that's the power of editing, guys.
Yeah, so it was crazy just like seeing how John's mind works, and just really gaining respect for him in a new light, you know, because you always know he's a good dancer, but like how did he get there, and how does he think about going further than that? And then Anton's was cool because he went into like his his creation process and a bit about his ideals on like masculinity and stuff, which was really cool because he shared a bit of vulnerability that was something that didn't happen on the podcast before, like that kind of vulnerability. And I was like, man, dude, it's crazy. So yeah, I kind of gave like gems on everyone, but you know, that's just how I feel about like all of the episodes. You know, they're all like special to me because I'm just biased.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's fair enough. Oh, yo. And do you think those influence your creativity in terms of like dance and stuff like that? Did we talk about this one?
It didn't directly affect my creativity, except for the questions that are like, hey, how do I get better at like being creative? Like those questions directly affected me. But what really affected me was being a better person. Like actually going out and connecting with people and getting to know more about them and like showing genuine interest. And then usually people would love to talk about themselves. I mean, look at me right now. You ask me a question, I'm going for ages. So if you just talk to someone and really like have genuine interest in wanting to know them, they'll go on, and then for me, I felt more of a better human. And then when I became a better human, like I felt like a better dancer in a way. Yeah. So that's how it affected me in like a higher way. But at the time, I can say that like as a human, I wasn't doing too well. So that's why it affected me more in that aspect.
I mean, even on like I think even just in like your like creativity, like in a dance sense, because you like, obviously we all follow you, but like when you chuck up quite a lot of like content of you jamming and like around your process and stuff. And some of them were like I really love them. Like I remember Like when I first started coming to like MH for jams and stuff, you were like one of the people that stood out for me. And I was like, gee, Andy, bro, this kid is like, he's the one, bro. He could do a flare. But like, do you have any advice of like creativity and kind of like creative process, like for dancing, like specifically?
Sorry, G, could you repeat that question? You cut out a bit for me.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Mod. Nah, like, do you have any advice like around creativity for dancing, like specifically?
I kind of look at this question in like two different aspects, where there's emotional creativity, like artistic creativity, and more like seeing. So that's one way, and the other way is just like seeing where your body can go. So like a different one for both would be, if you feel like you're stuck and don't have anywhere to like take your body, just try doing what you already know, but doing that differently. Or John explains it like John explains it so well. Yeah,
James right here.
John does this thing where he says pick like 3 poses that you find really weird and figure out how to dance into them and dance out of them. And I found that that's helped me a lot. And also just I went to Kevin Paradox's workshop earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, I can't remember, but something that I took away was he said something about breathing, which is when you're listening to a song, try to match your breath with the beat, because it's easier to focus on the beat when it's closer towards you.
Yeah.
So he was talking about like the breath and how it's more like it's inward within you, and you can dance that out. But when you're listening to a beat, it's like a bit further away from you in that sense. So what's helped me is just focusing on my breathing and how I'm matching the music. And sometimes that'll go really well. And also just going like he does this thing where you go super fast or super slow, and it's really just you're not trying to make up new moves all the time. Sometimes it's just about doing the same move you've always done, just differently. Which in itself is making up a new move.
Yeah.
And then the second one is emotional and artistic creativity, where you kind of feel like when you're making stuff, it's a bit of a drought. You don't feel inspired. Something that works well for me is I look through my journals and I read back on how I felt at certain times and try to draw back on that feeling and try to reflect and try to figure out why I was feeling that way. And that's why I still dance to this day, because when I danced early on, when I danced, it's so easy when people ask you, oh hey, why do you dance, to be like, oh, because it's cool, it's fun. But then the older you get, the more you realize like that definition, it's still the same, but it needs to change, because like you're growing up, like time's getting limited, you want to use your time properly, so why do you still dance? And I'm like, I still dance because it helps me become a better person, it helps me become the best version of myself, because when I don't understand what's happening in my head, I put it out through my body, and then like I can better understand it that way.
Nice.
And then so I look back on my journal entries and I really try to process through my feelings and why I feel certain ways and how to move forward from that is the big thing, because you don't want to bottle everything up and just keep it there. You want to move forward.
You talk about journaling, G. When you get like an idea from your journal, do you follow like some type of like structured like process, or like anything to get to where you want to get to, if you get me? Like, how do you get from A to B basically with your idea? Does it change every time?
I try to focus on what on expressing, on really getting my head into that mindset, because I write it down. So I initially write down in my journal, right? Like, so that I can separate myself from my feelings, so I can get on with my day. Because if I don't, like, I just find that like I usually just dwell on things, and that fucks me up. But if I write it down and close the book, I can like separate myself from my feelings, and I can always come back to it. So when I think about going into these creative processes, it's really just about getting my mind back into how I was feeling then, and then trying to express that in the best way possible. And then once I've done like a raw kind of framework, I think about like, I just think about how to make things look better, or how to make things that feel good look better. Yeah. Or if there's a story in how I feel, and I want there to be progression, like if I want me to start a piece where I'm like super mad and I want to be at the end of it, I want to be content, I'll figure out how's the best way to express that and how to bring that storyline. And it kind of works with me as a person as well. So it's like whenever I work on a piece, I feel like I'm working on myself.
Yeah. So do you kind of think you use? I think like the kind of structure you use is called a dramaturgical structure, which is when you have like story points.
Bro, that was cool. That was cool.
Wait, we're not just gonna slide past.
Yo.
What did you say, G?
Run that back. What was that? I didn't know that.
It's I think so. It comes from theater, but it's called a dramaturgical structure, which is where you start. Oh, so you basically have points, basically, in a performance, and you would wanna, you kind of. I have the thing somewhere. I'll start again. So you have points in your story, and you pinpoint each point basically, and basically a dramaturgical structure is basically a dramaturgical structure is when you translate your words into movement.
Yeah.
Or so that's basically what it is. So you kind of I'll just stop there. No, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what a dramaturgical structure is. I was trying to like pull it out of my head, but like I know what it means. Trust me, I know what it means. I'm not just chucking words out.
Nah, that was me. That was dope. That's Unitech right there. Let's go.
Oh, yo, shout out Unitech.
Shout out Unitech.
You put me in debt, but you're the man, boys. Shout, boys.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Nah, but yo. But speaking about like training and working out, G, what's your like training and like working out themes? Like, you know what I mean? What's your routine, bro? What's your routine?
Do you even have one during lockdown?
Yeah, bro. Or are you those guys that just eat and then like, oh, yo, I'm skinny again? Oh,
you just straight flare on any given day?
You probably have like Sunday roast and then like chuck a flare.
I've been trying to stick to this. I've been trying to stick to the schedule, but usually it doesn't end up working out. But I'll try to work out in the morning and then I'll dance in the afternoon. But the reason why it doesn't work out is because sometimes I'll dance for my warm up and then I'll just end up dancing for 3 hours or some shit and then I forget to work out.
Dancing is working out, G.
Well, yo,
that's usually mine. I like to work out in the morning, so I feel like nice and like, you know, good and energized. And then at the end of the day, when I've like gone through all the motions, I'm like, okay, let's go dance out some more. And
nice. What's your opinion? Sorry, off question. But like, what's your opinion on like having a set routine and like not just kind of like taking every day as it like comes? Like, do you prefer one, or do you think one fits better for you? Well, probably routine since you're doing that, but is there one that's like better, do you reckon?
Do you mean like consistent versus inconsistent? Like,
yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, just like having like a routine, like a set routine, and then just kind of like letting the day happen. It's not like a workout or training routine, but just like routine in general.
I personally prefer a routine, just because I know what works for me. But I'll have like my routine is 6 days I'll do that, and then on the 7th day I'll be lazy.
Just rest day like God, G.
Yeah.
The 7th day.
No.
Yeah.
7th day, just rest.
But you just gotta figure out what makes you like the most productive person you can be, and then you gotta align yourself with that.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
No.
Because I don't like work out hard out. I just do it because I want to stay like fit.
Yeah.
So I don't like fucking burn myself out. I try to go like at least 6 days a week so that I'm like, I feel healthy every day. So that's just me.
Just helps.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I mean, Fred G, you wanna ask a question, G? Or
Yo, G. You know what?
Oh, dude. Yep.
I'll transition you, G. Yo, G. Fred G, just answer a question. Ask a question from the. Fuck, I
Ask
fucked
a
it up.
question. Sorry.
let's go, G.
I'll take it back, like way back to when you were talking about you being lonely.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and then how you made this because selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish. What would you call it? Just something for you. So
Yeah.
would you and how you reckon this is like a positive thing for you, right?
Yeah.
So there are people out there that are struggling with loneliness as well. I was just wondering if you had any tips or things for those out there as well that are dealing with the same thing as you.
So you're speaking on like mental health, G.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Or even how like you write in a journal.
Why are you laughing at
How
mental
you
health?
write in a journal, G.
Nah, G.
No, cut this part out. Cut this part out. Cut this out. Cut this part out.
Bro, I'm actually, bro, I love you, Fred, for how you executed that question, bro. Right, mad respect.
Gee, as soon as Fred started talking, Andy was like, I was like, gee.
Cause it's Fred, bro.
Fred G.
Take it from the end of your question, G. Take it from the end of your question. Do you want to just re-ask the question real quick, G?
Just go tips for mental health, G. That's the last one.
The tips for mental
I was
health.
just trying to follow Tommy's
protocol.
Because even you talk about like writing in a journal as well.
Yeah.
Does that seem to help as well?
Yeah, journaling helps because I find that if I dwell on my feelings, I'm not productive. So, but I already talked about that, like just separate yourself from your feelings so that you can work and then come back to the feelings later. But you always want to come back to those feelings later, or else they'll bite you in the ass like later on in life. Because earlier this month, I was like super angry. Like I was angry and I was like feeling like really dark and pissed off. And like I didn't address it, and it started leaking into my personal life. Like it started leaking onto like how I treated others. So that really messed me up because like, you feel so messed up inside. Don't let it affect other people. Fix that first, and then like, that'll be good. So my best tips would just be to work at it every day. It's try not to think about it as like a long ass process. Just try to think about it as I want to be better for tomorrow. Like just try to think of it like I'm just trying to get through this day so I can make it to tomorrow, and then I'll do whatever I need to do tomorrow to get through the next day. Don't think about it, I want to go through this whole year and I want to get better by this point. Nah, bro, you're just trying to get better, a little bit better every day, just so you can make it to the next day. That's it.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Definitely, bro.
Oh,
It helps. Yeah.
no, keep going.
It just helps to chip it down,
Yeah. It's like an off question, but do you reckon there's a difference between being alone and loneliness?
Yeah.
What's your take on being alone and then loneliness?
Can someone else go? I'm feeling a bit like tired of talking.
I'm not tired of talking.
I'll come back to it after, but someone else go now.
I feel like one of them is a state of mind, and one of them is a physical, actually a physical thing. So I feel like being alone is like you're physically alone, but if you're lonely, it's like a mental thing. Like in your mind, you feel lonely. That's my take on it.
Surrounded.
Yeah.
That's the.
Like you could physically be not alone, but in your mind you feel lonely. Yeah, yeah. So like that's how I would split the two.
True.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll probably say the same. It's like same vibes. Room full of people, but still feel alone, So.
Stop stealing my answer, G. What are you up to, G?
No, I just want to steal your answer. It's a good answer.
Bro, you already said that, bro. What are you talking about?
Nah, G, I'm just trying to win, bro. It doesn't matter, G. I'm just trying to win everything. Nah,
I really
no,
say
but
that,
that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts.
I agree.
I
I think Tommy nailed it spot on. Yeah, I don't want to add anymore.
Yeah, no, I reckon so.
No,
Yeah,
no, but
yeah.
I reckon
I nailed it spot on, G.
between like
Uh,
we could be in a room full, like a Zoom full of people, G, like 4
bro,
people.
he already said it, bro. It's alright, bro.
Oh, yeah, all good, G. Yeah.
Bro, you know what's crazy though? Zoom's actually, I didn't think I'd feel this okay talking with people online. You know, I thought I'd miss people like so much more. But
Yeah.
Zoom actually, bro, it carries its weight so hard. Eh? Like I feel like I'm still connecting with people.
Yeah, I feel like it's the games we play as well. Too.
Yeah.
It's and I think bro, even like I was thinking about it the other day, but Zoom has been so like crucial in keeping like my social life like alive, G.
Yeah.
Like we have like, I mean, obviously because you're all in them, but we have like so many group chats. Like when like having that online circle of friends and then just us just like regularly communicating like makes it seem so much easier to like get through.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel like I'm hanging out with the boys like every day, which is dope. It's dope.
Which normally doesn't happen. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, hard.
Because no one ever hits my line.
Because no one even invites me out.
I never see those invites.
Oh, someone invite Fred G.
Never see those.
Fred G, buy a ticket, come.
Fair.
What's that? I was thinking. Quarantine.
No,
Quarantine things, bro. Quarantine things, bro.
Yo. Sweet.
Oh, the other question I wanted to ask Sheldon.
Huh?
Oh, this one. What got you into dancing? Why do you keep doing it? I just wanted to know you because you're like a mess of influence in the dance game. Yeah.
Oh, am I?
You know, smoke free, HHI.
Yeah, say this. Wait, what was the question? What got me into
the number 5 one. Yeah, what got you into dancing?
What got me into dancing? Gee, there's like been a few things that have kind of gotten me into dance. A few people know this, but I would say like creativity kind of just runs in my family a little bit. My mom, when she was like young, kind of like around our age, she was a contempt dancer.
Wow, dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did contempt and like street dance with her brothers as well. So like my uncles, like, well, her brothers, they danced, and when they were young, you know, they used to go to the park and like practice routines all together with their mates, and then go and battle other people. Like, well, that's what my mom says. I don't know if that's like factually correct, but it sounds vibes.
Family runs in the family.
Runs in the family, yes. But like, definitely, coming up in like the YouTube era, definitely like just watching videos online, but movies I think played a lot of part in the way they kind of like dramatize dance and make it seem so epic. Like You Got Served, Stomp the Yard, Step Up, like all of those like hard out inspired me to learn and want to like do dance. And I would watch movies over and over again, trying to like copy the movement, you know. But my uncles, they also added into that and kind of taught me really, really young, and then it just kind of stuck. But I think the thing that kind of really cemented like I really like dance would have been when I found Crump. And Crump really kind of just dropped. I feel like in 2008 or something is when I like kind of found Crump. And I was like real young, and I have like old, like ugly ass footage of me as a kid trying to crump. But that kind of kept me like, man, I like really like dancing. I want to do this like heaps and heaps. Bro, and it got to the point, you know how like schools have their like speech comps? Yeah, bro. I was like year 4, and I did a speech comp on Crump, G.
Yeah.
And I did basics on stage. This is a stomp, and I'll do a stomp. This is a chest pop, and I'll do a chest pop, bro. It's so hilarious.
Gee,
Like little,
straight up, not even capping. G. My year 4 speech was on Crump as well.
Oh yeah, it was.
I know, G.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Gee, we're Crump Kings, G. Tie-dye's me right here.
Yo, J Squad, J Squad.
Damn, I
Back in
totally
the
remember that
days.
one too.
That's Buzzy year 4 as well, G. That's crazy.
And then you crumped at the end of your thing, and then like everybody was laughing.
Yeah, G, everyone laughed at you, bro.
But Andy was looking at you with stars in his eyes. He was like, oh,
Yo, G.
my home.
This guy's damn.
Fuck.
It's that big boy.
That's my
G.
home.
I low-key bodied the whole classroom, G.
Gee,
Oh, wow.
I remember I crumped in front of the class because my mate was like, gee, we should show our class. And then we had like a 2-man session, G, and everyone just laughed, bro. And I was like, why are they laughing, G? And because I told them,
That's what they say. Gee, I'm going off. Why are you guys laughing?
I'm getting off on you, bro. What are you talking about?
They just don't understand the language, bro. It's going over their head.
Too
It's too
But like those are just, you know,
Let
kind
me
of,
say they didn't listen to your speech, man.
huh?
Because they didn't
Oh,
understand the
They
language.
didn't listen to your speech.
No, they
man.
didn't, G. But all good. I'm buck as. No, but I guess those are like little things that kind of got me into dance and kind of, you know, inspired me to kick off dancing. But it wasn't until I got to high school and started taking it like seriously. Like, I actually want to learn how to like properly dance and, you know, stuff like that. I was getting into choreography, harder influenced by people like Quick Crew and whatnot. I really love Quick Crew and Quest Crew. All at ABDC, used to thrash that as a kid. But meeting Millie would have been like a pivotal like moment in like my dance life. Because from there, after meeting Millie, opened me up to you know, the dance world and everything I know now. So yeah, shout out to Millie for being my year 10 dance teacher.
Yeesh. Shout out to Millie.
And then she went to Real High and met all of you guys. So,
Bro,
you know, if it wasn't even for her, I wouldn't even know you guys. You know what I mean? So, it's pretty buzzing for me.
you know what's trash about Millie?
What, G? Heaps?
Fuck. You're a bad teacher, Millie. I said it. What's up? What's up?
You're pretty good for like me. Hey, I was all good.
Nah, she never taught me.
She a bad teacher, G, or were you a bad student, G?
Nah, she just never taught me, yeah.
Oh,
But that's because I was never in her class. But one time she did try to teach me b-boy moves, but I think she just wanted to go home. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
like you know when your students are hanging around after class, she was just like, fuck, I wanna go home.
Yeah, G.
I wonder how many times she's felt that age. She's like, damn, it's fun.
Gee, I don't want to teach this guy a 60. I know how to 60. He can learn off Vincent TV.
Oh shoot, I actually love that dude. I wonder if he's still rocking that same haircut. You know what I mean?
Bro, he is, G.
bro, probably.
Look at his vids, surely.
Alright. Alright. You know what?
Yeah.
Impromptu. Andy didn't even plan this. Halftime show.
Yeah.
Whoa. You can put this wherever you want in the actual thing.
Yeah.
But halftime show. Let's go. Would you rather? Bang. Easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you rather lose the ability to read? Would you rather be able? Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
Lose the ability to speak.
Ooh.
Why?
Because I can still write,
Yeah, I lose
right?
the ability to speak to.
I can still write and I can still do other things that allow me to communicate.
We're still writing.
But
dude.
if I can't read, like, dude, that fucks you up for so many things in life. You know what I mean? like if you can't read, you're kind of fucked.
You can't read. You basically shouldn't speak at all, anyways.
Yo, would you just be that one guy that has like all the facts but can't tell anyone?
Sign language, bro.
Oh yeah, that's true. That.
You just write it down.
Yeah.
I would lose the ability to read.
Honestly, would you actually?
I would too.
Because I know like there's people out there who are still like illiterate,
Yeah,
but like can still like talk and communicate and stuff.
Yo, G, 50 Cent can't read.
Oh.
Like, what if you like learn through like
See,
sound?
that 50 Cent reference, bro. Oh.
50-50.
If you don't know what the 50% reference was bro, that was a time. That was a moment in time. That's when who called him out?
Hey, Floyd? Was it Floyd Mayweather?
Mayweather.
Could you imagine fucking Floyd Mayweather calling out someone, bro?
Yeah.
I don't get the check.
Alright. Next, would you rather?
Yeah.
Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Fur.
Scales, G.
Probably fur, G.
Like what kind of scales?
Like dragon scales or
Like, like fish scales or
I think
Or
it's
like weight scales. Which one, G?
no. Why would you become a?
Nah,
you
I'd
become
say fur. I'd say fur.
I personally fur.
People
I'd
standing
say
on you.
fur.
I feel
I
like
reckon-
scales is just inconvenient. G.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Just go fur.
It's tiny, G, and you can
Be
look
Wookiees.
like a dragon.
Did you say so is fur, Fred?
Yo, bro.
So would you rather have scales?
Hey, I'm saying fur, man. What the hell? I'd rather have fur.
And then we'll finish it off with this last one. I'll just look for one real quick. I lost it.
I'll go on.
Yo,
Would you rather be able to teleport, but you teleport at random times, or be able to control time, but every time you use it, you don't know what you control time for?
Control time.
So you lose your memory. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna go back to go get me ice cream.
Control
And
time.
then you go back, and then you don't know what you're there for.
like mid travel, you're like, why am I here?
This is such a weird question, Fred.
I'm sure what you do, teleport at random times, or you just be able to time travel, but
I
don't know why you time traveled.
choose time because I wouldn't use it. But that's kind of that's the cop out, right? You choose time so you wouldn't use it, so that you could just live a normal life. Because if the other option is I can teleport anywhere at
You
any
imagine
time.
teleporting like on the toilet, G.
Yeah, bro,
Like,
that's fucked, you know.
Yo, you toilet, and then you teleport into like a lecture.
No, imagine you teleport to a fucking child playground, bro. That's instant fucking what is it?
That's charges. That's
Yeah,
charges.
That's jail. That's jail. Right
That's
there.
jail
That's
time.
jail
bro.
right there.
That's predator.
Very specific example, G.
That's jail.
Teleport at random times. Trying to sleep. Teleports to Times Square.
Yo, you're like, hey?
Getting walked on.
You're like, thanks, but hey?
Bro, he's only thinking of the negatives. Bro.
Gee,
He's only
because
thinking of the negatives, bro.
it's anywhere.
Because it's
bro.
random, bro. It's random.
You just like leaning in, like just about to have your first kiss, and then teleport somewhere else.
Yo, G, you're just about to smash, and then you...
What if you're at a nightclub and then you're like getting kicked out,
And then you
and then
teleport to a
you
different
teleport
nightclub.
into another nightclub?
Yo, teleporting yourself,
what?
G. You're not even with the homies anymore.
Gee, what if you're like here, but then you teleport to Australia?
And then
You can't get back.
Gee, you have to wait until you can come back, but you don't know when you're coming back.
You ran.
Or what if you
Wait.
manage to randomly teleport back?
Oh, cool.
back in time and forget about it.
Yo, next, would you rather, or is that the end?
Yo, we'll just end the would you rather there.
Nah.
Try to keep this. We'll try to keep this short and sweet, so Andy can cut it down to about an hour. Make sure everyone can listen to it real nicely.
Short and sweet.
What haven't we done? So before we go back into it, because Andy will just cut the middle
What's
talks
next
out.
one?
Is it the 11 to 14? That's our last one's there.
Oh, where's 50? That's what I've been looking at.
No, I think you guys have been. It's been a bit like wonky, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, 15,
Yeah, like-
16 is actually 15.
He's kind of like talking about everything. Yeah.
Andy's already talked about his history.
Yeah.
Have you touched everything? Is there anything? Okay, obviously we're gonna hit what's next, but we'll finish on that.
I think number 8.
Number 8.
I don't think I've talked about number 8.
No, you haven't.
Yeah. Alright.
Maybe we
Is
should
it-
talk about like lost, like how do you get back, like clap back into that?
Yeah. Mindset wise, if your mindset's not in the right place, type thing. Eh?
So,
Wait, I'll just try to look at the other ones. So do you still want to do 11, 12, 13? 11, 12?
yeah, I want to do all of them just because they actually like asked it. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stinking and be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But you're kind of like weak. Every question is the other question.
Yeah, definitely.
Just in case I missed some.
Yeah. Alright. So we're doing. Which one are we doing now? 8.
Yeah.
Sheldon, you got this one, G. That's all you.
8. 8, 9, 8 as well.
So I know like we're quite heavy in like the battle scene or whatever, and you know some days you have on days, some days you have off days. But when you have those off days, and you know like sometimes when you take that L, it can be quite jarring. But for you, how do you deal with that, and how do you like clap back in a sense?
Oh shit. Okay. I'll answer this question just because. I'll answer this question quickly and then I'll come back to it. But how I take the L quickly is just to remember you're always a student and to take every experience as just a learning experience. But originally this question is talking about death.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
why you take it? No,
I was gonna get to that.
He's gonna get there. He's gonna get there.
Okay.
Magic. Re-ask that question, Sheldon. I want you to get that transition on lock, G.
I got this, bro.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, like a lot of times, I mean, being, you know, quite heavy in the battle scene, we are. We do have on days, we do have off days, and we take dubs, and some days we take L's. But not even just in the dance sense. You know, we take L's in life, like sometimes every day. But just for you as like a person, how do you experience loss, or rather, how do you deal with that and recover from loss?
There's like this really good artist called he is an artist, but he's an actor called Shia LaBeouf. You'd probably know him from his younger days as he used to play that Sam Witwicky in Transformers. But this dude, like his latest work, it's been some of the most creative work I've ever seen in my life, bro. And like his latest work called Honey Boy, it's kind of like an autobiography on his life. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you guys seen it? Or
No.
it's kind of about his life and how he went from a child star and his abusive relationship with his dad, and then like all the kind of ins and outs of Hollywood when you're growing up, and then to how he is now and how that affected his relationships. So he wrote that piece in therapy. And I was watching one of his interviews afterwards, and something that he said was that you shouldn't waste pain, that pain is a useful paint. And when I heard that, I was like, damn, fuck, like, I mean, it's so, sometimes some of our best work comes from our most painful times in life. So just don't waste it. Channel that pain into making something useful out of it. And
it's fuzzy. Like his journey's been quite cool. Now I watch some of his interviews and they're quite like pretty insightful. So, types. But I mean, I mean, I guess that's like experiencing loss and life. Also on the dance floor, how do you clap back from taking an L? Like if it was a battle or something, or you might muck up in a performance, how do you recover from that?
Fuck, realistically, I'm probably like the bottom tier of project, and I'd openly admit it. Bro. Like, I'm bottom tier project 100%. Cause like if I look at the team, all of them can clap me 100%. Like I don't doubt that for a second. I reckon my whole team could clap me, and I'll be like, you know what? That's all good because I'm shit anyway.
I feel like don't play yourself down, dude.
No. I'm not playing myself down.
But to be fair, your crew is stacked.
Very true. But that's what I'm comparing myself against, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like if you take an L, like fuck, what's the worst thing that can happen? You just took an L. You're just gonna come back next time, you know? It's just try to look at yourself from like a third party perspective. Like don't get too into your head. Take a step back, think about yourself like that you're someone you care about. Well, what would you say to someone you care about in that situation? Because when you're in the zone, when you're in your own head and your ego, you're gonna be mad, you're gonna be sad, you're gonna be like whatever, frustrated because you feel like you deserve to win, right? But then just take yourself out of that. Look at yourself from like a third person and think about, yo, Andy, I care about you. Like, I don't want you to be like thinking over this too much. It's just another battle. You'll come back and you'll be better, and you'll always learn. But like for now, just let it go and just be a decent person for the rest of the event. Done.
Fuzzy.
No.
Bro, that's actually so good. Like, I feel like that's like real good advice. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because when I lose, like,
oh yeah, bro. How do you feel? Because I feel like you've battled like 100 times more than me, bro. Like, so how do you feel when you take an L?
For me, like Alza, I have way more L's than I do dubs. G. Like I can't remember the last time I like won a bet. Oh no, I do. That was against Avenue. That was like my last dub. But before that, bro, I cannot remember the last time I took a dub. And like it gets frustrating. Like for me, like when you want to achieve so much, and then like when it just doesn't happen for you. Yeah. But I think it's like especially what, like I think just for me personally is like I was on like from the latter half of last year to like maybe like February, like cause so I didn't have a job. So I went like 7 months without a job, G, and I was like, gee, I need money. So I was literally banking on like winning battles to like get by and like pay my bills, G. And like some of them I won, and I was like, oh my God, thank you. Like I just needed to like make it to the next like week or the next battle. But then when I would enter, like during that time when I'd enter a battle and then like lose, I'll be like, fuck, because like that is like that's like my bread and butter, G, gone right there. And like so it was hard when like I don't know, when like you just take an L and then like I get like into my head about it because I feel like, oh no, I needed that, and I'm just like real cool to myself. But I'm like getting better at like taking LZ, so it's all good. You just have to remind yourself that you're gonna have on days, and then you're allowed to have off days. Like you don't have to always be 100% on. But I like what you say about that third party perspective, and really like if I was like talking to myself as like another person, like what would I say to like help ease that process? So I really like that. But yeah,
bro, Sheldon, you know that time during that kind of desperation phase, if that's, I'm just saying like did you think you were a better battler or a better dancer during that time just because of how desperate you were, or do you just think your attitude was just different? Like that was the main thing.
Yeah, I think the attitude was different.
Yeah.
Like I was really like during the battles, I would really try and like push a bit more.
Yeah.
I remember that final, bro, when I had against Avenue. Like, gee, like it was just straight 4 hours in the hot sun, no shade, straight dance. We were all going hundies, and I remember me and Av were just dead, bro. And then we had to do a 3-round final, and we were like, "How do we even dance right now?" But I was like, remember, particularly before my last round, I was like, empty the tank, G, because you got bills to pay. Like in my head, and I was like, I had to keep pushing, because if I don't, then gee, my credit score is getting lower. Like, but like, yeah, like it, I don't know, it flipped like a different kind of mental switch. Like for me, physically, I was like training a bit. I reckon I could have trained a bit harder as well, but I mean that's all good. But yeah, mentally it helped like get serious.
Also as well, just last question on this topic, but you know that kind of mentality where people are like, don't come into it with expectations.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about that? Because
I don't know, because like I've like come into battles with expectations, but then I've also just done battles to have fun.
Yeah.
And like people say, you always do way better when you have fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like what it is kind of like, yeah, it eases the pressure a bit. Like you're not putting too much pressure on yourself. But that way you're leaving mental capacity to actually just feel out your dance more.
But like,
And clouding it, like, gee, I better be on, and then trying to remember combos instead of just living in it and just like really actually just dancing it. But yeah, I would say don't walk into any battle expecting you're gonna like expect to win.
Yeah,
because that's just like, yeah. But I would never say walk into a battle thinking that you are going to lose, because the minute you start thinking, oh nah bro, I don't reckon I can do this, you've already lost.
Yeah.
But that's just me. What about you guys?
Oh no, you're saying like you go in and you have fun. Would you consider that an expectation?
That's the level of thinking, right?
You're expecting to have fun, G? No.
No, I was just asking.
I don't think it's an expectation. I think it's more of just telling yourself to do something, right?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't you can't expect to have fun at a battle, or walk into a battle like I expect to have fun. But then
isn't that what people say? They walk in and then they're like, I'm just gonna have fun in this battle.
Nah, I
Like,
wouldn't say.
I'm not gonna like.
Nah, that's what they say. G.
I'm gonna go for the win. But people will say, I'm gonna go for the win. People will say, I'm gonna have fun. People will say, I'm just gonna try go after the first round. Like,
yeah, I see your point.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that go to like auditions and be like, oh no, I'm just jamming.
And then they get in. And like,
fuck those guys, bro.
I'm just jamming, and then they're in the final crew. And you're like, hey,
yeah,
just jamming with you. Just
what happened?
Get into the crew, or
those guys are
just
lame.
audition and get node.
Those guys are lame because they're like, I'm just here to have fun, but they have like a fucking audition number on them. Like, nah, G. Nah, G, you're not here to have fun, bro.
Yeah, I also paid the registration, but I'm just like having fun there.
Yeah.
I paid the $100. But I'm just here to learn.
Yo.
Hell no, you're lying to me.
You just.
I just really use choreography. I'm not looking to learn off them. I just want to come enjoy the class.
I want to feel the vibes.
The only person that I like that does that is Melee, cause Melee will go to like she would go to like auditions. I think I've only seen her at Prestige auditions, but she went to Prestige auditions, but she was like literally just there to fucking have fun, Yeah, that was cool.
Cause you can.
Fuck, this is what I always love. I always love battling someone that's like fucking better than me. Cause like,
facts.
Bro, it brings out the best in you, cause like you're really struggling to hold your own versus them, and you just wanna you wanna fuck them up in a way, like, okay, not like, maybe that's just my b-boy mentality that comes in, but I'm honestly, when there's someone that's like owning me, I just feel more fired up. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm gonna clap back so hard the next round, bro.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that hard, especially when like battling you. Bro, I battled like so many people better than me, G, and it's just like you start getting worked up, and you're like, gee, I ain't losing today, boy. I ain't losing today, bro. But literally everyone that I battled better than me has like clapped me, and I'm like, come on.
But do you feel like the growth happening live? Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, I reckon sometimes. Or unless I'm just getting like my ass like really handed to me, G, then I'm like, I ain't feeling nothing but sadness and pain, G, and regret.
Like, I labbed it.
Hell no.
Nah, but yeah, definitely growth.
I can't talk on that. I haven't had that many battles.
Yeah, either. But that's the reason why I remember all of mine so well, because I don't have heaps. But I'm keen for the next one, and I just wanna, fuck. I hate it when I hated loose change.
Say less.
Bro, fuck loose change, bro. I can't believe I didn't make it through the prelims there. Like I know I didn't make it in for what reason I did, but I'm just mad because I'm like, bro, fuck, I'm so much better than this, man. Like, what am I doing, bro?
You can't save moves, bro.
Like,
Can't
fuck,
save moves.
it pisses me off, bro. I'm like, bro, I can make it through prelims, dude. Why am I so whack right now?
That's the next one, eh? Let's fight up for the next one.
Exactly, bro.
That's the main part, though. I reckon.
Yeah,
is
when you the comeback is when you come back.
Then the next one I still don't make it.
Oh,
People like, yo, shot Andy. Bro.
Gee, bro, but even at the first loose change battle, like, I reckon it was like the most fun L I've ever taken. But when I battled Nate.
Yeah.
On Prestige. Gee, that was like his first battle event, and he beat me.
Fuck.
And like it was cool, like going like Prestige versus Prestige, and I was like, gee, I felt so honored to be part of his like first battle, and then for him to battle like his brother, and then win, bro, like against someone who's been like battling for like a minute. But like that was like one of the coolest like feelings to lose.
Yeah.
But, like yeah.
Gee, are you sure it was cool to lose or like?
That's crying.
Or like,
was
wasn't one of those ones like, oh yo, shot, brother, shot, fuck you, bitch.
He wait.
Goes in for a hug, but you just shake his hand. Nah.
Well, let's pick.
Those guys say, you call me on off day.
Nah,
I was just going easy. I
actually felt like all good because like watching him go hard against me, like, and then also watching him catch the dub, like when your people win, G, like you win as well.
Yeah.
But if I mean, even if you are the one who takes the L, you still win. But I felt like I won that day because he won, you know.
The come up. He's on the come up.
He's on the come up. On the come up.
Oh, he's pretty bad. I saw his battle too. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, see, but that's the
Where
thing.
come from?
Bro, he can move. Boy can
He's
move.
dangerous.
Doing it for years. So yo.
Oh yeah, we'll take it back to the question about your loss and stuff. I know you said Shia LaBeouf. You like Shia LaBeouf's quote?
I think we've answered that, right?
No, he's working. He's working. Let him work. Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
He's working, G. Just let him work.
Segue into it, right?
Sorry.
Right. Let him work.
We freestyling now.
Alright, start again.
Alright.
We'll just take it all the way back in.
Take it all the way back.
Yeah.
Sheldon's question and how you liked Shia LaBeouf's, what was it, his quote about how pain is
a useful
another form of art. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a useful pain.
Question.
It's funny, yeah. I used to. Fuck, sorry. I'll carry on. Just I'll let you carry on. But like, real quick, in the movie, he also says something about like, pain is the only thing his father gave him, and that if, like, he was talking to a therapist, and Shia LaBeouf's actor said, pain is the only thing my father gave me, and you want to take that away from me. And it was the craziest thing when I heard it, because it was like, it made me realize how sometimes we like to hold on to our pain. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever find yourself holding on to things, or like, it kind of makes you who you are, but in the same way, it's kind of hindering your growth as well.
It so does, G.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept, and I realize sometimes it's like when I look at mental health and things about how some people are like, oh, I have depression. Sometimes I'm not sure if like people really do have it. Like, I'm sure you might deal with it. Like, I'm sure like everyone deals with depression, right? Everyone deals with depression, but like,
some people just play it out.
Are you giving yourself a fighting chance? Are you trying to make things better, or are you just holding on to the pain because it makes you feel special, or makes you feel like a certain type of way? But it's a touchy subject there.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm not a big fan of like when I'm like real down. I'm not a big fan of using the word depressed, because I feel like depression isn't like a self-diagnosed thing. Like it's like, I mean, you can say in a way you can be like, yeah, I'm hella depressed, and you can find yourself in that mindset. But I feel like you might need a second opinion, whether it's from a therapist or anyone else, to kind of like see where these emotions are coming from and how much they actually do affect you. Before
you actually need it from like a legit doctor as well to say that you're depressed.
Yeah, because like you can't. Oh, well, you can, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't believe in self-diagnosing that much, because like you're kind of fighting your own demons. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just super sad.
Yo, thanks. No, yo, carry on, G.
I'm just super sad. Is that what you're saying? I just wanted to know where you put like pain and emotion and how that like helps create your dance, or mold your dance.
What does the word emotion mean to you, G?
This one, if you know who asked this one, it makes so much sense. So, the way emotion plays in my dance is that dance is just a way for me to figure out who I am. It's just a way for me to like process myself, because every day when you go outside, or every day is a new day, you're going out there and you're having everybody kind of tell you like who you should be, and then there's that battle of like who you should be versus who you are. So when you come back in, when you go outside to the real world and like you start talking to everybody and they have all their opinions and everything, and then you come back and you recollect yourself, and you're trying to figure out like at the end of the day like who this person you want to be is. That's what dance is for me. That's how I process. And it's one of the ways I've been processing. I've been trying to find out more ways to do that, because I've realized that when I because I've danced so much, I can't communicate my feelings that well, and that kind of fucks me up for like my other relationships, whether that be friendships or like partnership. Like I couldn't express how I felt properly. So balance.
Yo, that's me. Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Solid. Oh, yo. Now, yeah. But we've talked a lot about dance and your podcast and stuff like that. Is there any other like avenues that you would want to go down in terms of content, making different content rather than just dance, or just dance related, I guess? Is there any other avenues that you would want to like explore in terms of like in terms of creating?
None off the top of my head. There is poetry, but poetry is more of like my own kind of thing. Like, I've been having like a lot of fun with that actually. Like,
nice.
That's one of my like secret pleasures that I just like I get into. Any other creative avenues? Probably none at the moment, but I've really been into collaborating. Collaborating is just so much fun, bro. And I feel like the more I collab, the more I'll be exposed to different things. And maybe ask me this question like maybe a few months from now when we're not on lockdown, and I can come up with like some way better answers for you. Yeah.
No, fair enough. I guess we could just like we pretty much went through like mainly all the questions that have been like asked by the viewers, and kind of added a few more here and there. So I think we should just like finish off on this last like good old question. What's next? What's next? Quarantine's about to be over. Quarantine's about to be over. 0 cases 2 days in a row in New Zealand. That's pretty cool. What's next for you, Andy? Actually, I'll start again. I want to say what's next for everyone else, and then you finish on you. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. What's next for everyone else then?
What's next for you, Fred?
That's probably pretty much the same. Hey, go work, come home, eat. There's really nothing's really changed on my end there. Just you can't really eat at the place that you want to eat at. So
you're actually in like a different like situation to all of us, because you kind of moved away from a lot of the creative stuff.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself like, do you have any creative goals?
Creative goals? Probably not.
Nah, that's all good. That's chill. Ayo.
I'm kind of like on the same as like Andy, how he wants to collaborate with people. Like I'm just keen if people are keen. I just yo, I'd like to collaborate too.
Yo, if anyone's listening from Brisbane,
But I'm not on that pushy. Yo, guys, let's collaborate. It says if I meet up and then at the night you're like, bro, we should just like mix something real quick. I'm like, yo,
organic.
I want that buzz, not the. Let's plan it. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Or we should we should link up and just make the best video ever.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
Love these ones. Yo, sweet. Sheldon G, what about you, G?
What's next?
Me, I'm just waiting to head back to Blenheim and get ready for work and jump back into school.
Right.
I'm not needed like immediately because I don't have a specific class because I teach the whole school. So I just I'm just waiting for the call up pretty much. But like creatively doing a lot, got a lot of like projects on ways and trying to secure many bags. And yeah, just keeping my creative juices flowing, Yo. And at the moment working on collab for Tempo Dance Fest.
Oh,
it's cool.
Who are you collabing with? If we can. Who are you collabing with?
Her name is Anu. She dances for Footnote Dance Company.
Man.
And that meeting just went down today, so pretty stoked to reach out. And there's heaps of other things, but safe.
Yeah.
Get up to Tommy.
Oliti.
Got on the works, Tommy.
What am I up to? I'm up to having too many ideas all the time. So I'm trying to like scale down on my. I'm at a point where I'm trying to organize all my life before I make the next move. So that's why I'm like, right now, currently, my current thing I'm up to is organizing all of my files ever, which is taking a lot longer than expected. Yeah. It's taking a while. But besides that, I'm trying to just find my footing in life because I just finished uni. So I just finished uni, and because I went from high school straight to uni, so I haven't had a break ever like this before. So I've never just taken time off and just worked or anything like that. So like my next is pretty much figuring out what's next. But yeah, besides that, just little projects here and there, finishing old shit. Easy. Easy.
Those ones from what?
Yo, facts. I have so many archives I've been sitting on, and I feel sorry for all the homies that I've been holding up. But I'm getting them out. Trust me.
You heard it here.
If anyone's listening,
you heard it here.
Like if any of the homies that I have footage of are listening, it's coming out. It's coming out. Don't worry. I'm gonna get it done. Solid. All right.
Mean. Tommy Trent.
Yo. Alright, we'll wrap this up with Andy, man of the match, MVP himself. What's the Dillies podcast host himself? What is next? Andy?
And he's like bedtime.
I think I'm in the same boat as you, Tommy. Like I'm just trying to settle back into my own schedule after quarantine ends, and then I got a few ideas that I'm trying to run off as well. And the best thing I could tell you, the best way to tell you what I'm up to is just follow my Instagram. That's it.
Flex.
And that's it. We've answered all the questions. Thank you for sending in your questions, everybody. And yeah, that is us. So, Tommy, you want to send us off with a song? Thank you to Fred and Sheldon and Tommy for coming on tonight and sharing some vibes. Sorry guys, almost forgot that one.
Yeah, it was pretty janky, but we got through it. Andy's gonna edit this up, whip it up, make it sound good, and we'll just go from there.
Big vibes.
Big vibes.
Big vibes takes.
Yeah, we just pretty much just go from there. We just kind of
on the Zoom.
Andy, you wanna peace off one more time, bro?
Peace.
Fitting in your vibe and you'll be styling out too quickly. Man, it's just the way you do it when you move so swiftly.
I think we should just appreciate the song real quick.
Vibing out to you,
Jam it up,
making
jam it up.
me do you, man. Smoking out the way I feel emotion. Emotion, so good, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so new. I'm wishing at the end of June. Clouds in my shroud, in my vision go clearly. Can't see ahead if I'm fine when I leave me. What is
Solid.
I saying when you
Right. Good shit, boys.